Human life began in Africa about 7 million years ago. Yet humanity as we know it, Homo sapiens, evolved by at least 130 years ago from ancestors who remained in Africa. Throughout centuries, most Africans were migrating into Asia and Europe. And Homo erectus, typified by Java man and Persian fossils in the Far East. Yet and still, agreements break down completely on the question of when, where, and how these anatomically modern humans began to manifest creative thinking. This is when and where human culture was born. The creative explosion theory, based upon evidence like the magnificent cave paintings in La Chouche and Chauvet, as a theory of a relic of time when their discipline was ruled by Eurocentrism. But I ain't even buying that bullshit. First off, as we know, Eurocentrism was replaced by white supremacy. So those choosing to still believe in the creative explosion theory, your reason and discipline is now ruled by white supremacy instead of Eurocentrism. A person will believe a lie if they want to believe a lie or they fear it's the truth. Let there be no question. A lot of the surge in white supremacy that we see today is because you are feared. A lot of white nationalists are afraid that at the rate American culture is trending to a more inclusive nation, interracial mating and marriages, the purity of the white race cannot continue to survive in the capacity it employs today. And that's in a superior position. These white nationalists and supremacists, they view the issue in the light of a fight for self-preservation. And I understand their position though. It is said that if a black person mates with a white person, it takes something like 17 generations of mating with only whites before they can produce a baby that they can say is pure white, considered black. Besides that, the fact remains that Dr. Christopher Hirshenwood, SF South African Museum in Cape Town, while exploring the cave, found evidence that the anatomically modern people there were turning animal bones into awls and finely polished weapon points more than 70,000 years ago. That was due to these Africans' mental evolution, 20,000 years prior to the time frame of white supremacist theory. Places the beginning of when these anatomically modern humans began to manifest creative thinking. The skill for making such bone tools is considered more advanced in concept and application than that in producing the usual stone tools. So it wasn't no caveman theory and not for us. That was due to these Africans' mental evolution. So so that we're clear, the greatest blow white supremacy struck to blacks abroad happens to be psychological and derives from the lie that Africans lived as savages, animal-like, unable to manifest creative thinking until a supreme or superior being taught them to be civilized. If you go into anywhere on the central modern coast, you get into the cultures of the Nubians, you get into the Kushites, ancient Kushites, and even ancient Kemet, one of the first most known modern civilizations. You'll find agricultural legacies, supreme growing of vegetation, irrigation systems from 50 miles, LA to Lancaster, right, to take our waste and send this out. These are scientific artifacts that prove these facts. So while history testifies to the contrary, if you visit those places, you'll see that it's different. The very nature of such a lie is rooted in evil, and it intends to establish that European whites are more advanced, far superior, mentally, culturally, in this process of man's evolution. This was a lie. That was until our people began to believe it. Now it's the truth. That's when the world began to follow this chain of thought. That's when began blacks began to adopt European thoughts of themselves. If you could bluff them, you could beat them. I'm Deuce Simms, CEO of Active Chucks Entertainment, Active Chucks Management. I'm here with VAL TV Network. We're here for Black History Struggle. We raising a cause. You could donate at Brim Inc. 501c3. Go to livestreamers.com. We're in 181 countries. This will be on the CW network, and we got a show for y'all. We'll be right back with y'all in a minute.